All right, y'all. We're gonna run it back with another late night live stream here. Um, because I actually enjoy this energy at night. And there are a few people who hopped on, and also I saw that there were folks who actually watched who watched the replay. And so I decided that I was going to come on again and tonight and share another late night topic. May not make a habit of these late night conversations, but we're going to try something new at least this week. And in tonight's conversation is around how your mindset equals your brand. But if this is your first time seeing me, if this is your first time letting me come across your feed, my name is Julia Rock. I'm the founder and CEO at Rock Career Development. I'm a career and leadership coach. And so I help individuals, so professionals and former athletes, with finding their next career opportunity. And then I also support organizations with helping them improve their leadership and employee engagement strategies. And, part of tonight, I'm also going to talk a little bit about the group coaching program that I'm launching called Elevate. It's a 12-week group coaching program to serve finance and accounting professionals and helping them to get to the next level and make more money. But I wanted to start with the conversation around your personal brand, but not from a mechanical sense, not from a, well, here's what you put on here's how you put together a resume, and this is how long your resume should be, or here's what you put on your LinkedIn profile, and this is how you arrange it. That's not what this conversation is about. You can Google the mechanics when it comes to an effective resume or LinkedIn profile, or you and I can have a separate conversation. But tonight is more so about how your mindset impacts your brand, because your mindset it impacts how you approach every single thing in life. And part of the reason why we may feel stuck from a career perspective is because we have forgotten who we are. When we talk about personal branding, it's always about how do we want to position ourselves for the next opportunity? How do we make sure that we're selling to say, hey, if I want to shift into tech, or if I want to shift into sales, that I'm positioning myself for that next opportunity. But we forget who we are and what we've already done to get us to this point. And so that then impacts how we're showing up on our resumes. It impacts how we show up in interviews. It impacts how we're showing up in conversations and networking. That lack of remembering who we are and how we got to this point is, hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Are you guys hearing me okay? I want to make sure you guys can hear me. So if you guys are hearing me, just let me know. Can somebody drop in the chat? I want to make sure that my mic is working. Let me double check and make sure that my mic is working. Yes. Okay. I think it's working. Okay. I was getting some feedback and I was just like, I don't know if it's going through. So we're good. We're good. But, so when we think about our mindset and our brand and what we've done to this point, sometimes we've just forgotten that. We've forgotten how we got here. And I want to tell you a personal story about how this impacted me as well. I was preparing a speech. So I do keynote speeches, trainings, and workshops for organizations and associations. And I was preparing this speech and I was putting together a story to share as part of the speech. And as I was putting it together, I sought to share the story with my speaking coach, Daryl Stinson. Shout out to D Stintz. And as I was going through the story, he said, "This story has no sauce." I was like, "What? What do you mean by that?" He's like, "You're sounding really basic." And I was almost taken aback, like, "What do you mean I sound basic?" But his point was, did I do all the things that I've done in my career or not? Have I led a large team in Argentina, in a foreign country? Have I, worked around the world or traveled around the world? Have I leveled up in salary? So all the things I had done in my career, the story had none of that. So it was hard for me to position myself in terms of the authority I was trying to share, because I was sounding really, really basic, like I didn't have all the experience that I had to that point. And it was one of those moments where it was just like, man, am I her or not? Am I, do I have what it takes or not? And it was really the kick in the pants that I needed to help me tell all of my stories more powerfully. And because I think back to all the experience I had, and it's like I was a controller for not one, not two, but three chemical plants. Again, I had the opportunity to lead a large team in a foreign country. So all of these things I had done, but I lost sight of that as I was trying to tell this story. And so it was coming across in a way that wasn't impactful, and it wasn't really selling on anybody on what I could do or why I had the expertise to be in the room with them. And so for a lot of us, that's how we approach our careers as well. We forget or we downplay the kind of work that we've done and the impact that we've made and the contributions and the achievements. We forget that. And so we show up from a place of shrunkenness. We show up from a place of shrunkenness, of we didn't really do all that much. We don't really share our accomplishments. And so when we think about within the organizations we work in, when we're feeling stuck at a certain level, part of it is just because people don't know who we are. They don't know what we do. They don't know the impact that we can create. They don't know the value we bring. And so we stay stuck at that point, partially because we're underselling ourselves. And the same thing goes for when you're on the job search, when you're putting in applications and you're putting out your resume. We're listing out the tasks that we've done, but we're not really highlighting how all that work we've done created value. We're not highlighting all the experience that we brought to the table. We're not highlighting, all of the things that were transformed as a result of our work. And so what I would like to ask you as part of tonight's discussion is, are you showing up in the fullest way possible when you are, whether seeking to get a promotion or move in your organization, or if you're trying to look externally, or if you're unemployed right now, are you showing up in the fullest way possible? Have you taken time to reflect and remember who you are and how you actually got to this point, all of the things that you have done? And so when you think about the resume that you have right now, if you were to pull out your resume right now, if you're listening and your resume is handy, if you were to take a look at it right now, would it show, or does it truly showcase everything that you have done? And I don't mean listing every single job. That's not what I mean. Are the jobs that you have, are they showcasing all of the value that you created in those roles? Or is it just saying, I did this, check, 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 instead of saying, here's the impact, here was the result, here were the outcomes as a result of the work that I did? And the same thing goes for your LinkedIn profile. When you look at your LinkedIn profile, when you look at the responses that you've tried to craft for interviews that are coming up, do they sound like someone who has done all the work that you've done, or do they come from a place of shrunkenness and the fact that you don't remember everything you have done to get here? And if you're thinking about, well, how do I actually pull all those things together? Because perhaps I've done all these things and I've forgotten, I don't know how to put them together. I have my favorite tool. If you've watched me anywhere, I have a favorite tool. It's called a brag sheet. You may have heard about it before, a brag sheet or a brag folder. And this document really allows you to put together all of your key experiences. And the Rock Career Development brag sheet, it has multiple columns to not just say what you've done, but it talks about the context, who was impacted, what was the result, what was the time frame. Because sometimes you need to just lay out, hey, I didn't just solve this problem, but I solved it faster than anyone else thought they could have, or this was a problem that people had been trying to solve for years, and I was the one who came in and did it. And it was able to impact over 5,000 people or users. And so you have to not just think about the what, but what was the impact downstream and how many people? Because once you start to list those things and you see all of the things you're done, I was like, well, damn, I really am that person. I really have done all of that work. And it's not just about creating a compelling narrative or creating a story. That's only part of it. It's also important for you to see all the work that you've done, because it also helps you mentally with, working harder to get towards what it is that you want. And what I mean by that is, when you sit down and you think about everything you have done, everything that you've achieved, everything you have gone through to this point, and then you look and you see that, hey, I'm stuck in this position. You're just like, wait a minute, I can't continue to sit here. I can't continue to sit here and stay stuck, knowing all of the effort, the blood, sweat, tears that I had to put in, the things I had to deal with, all the tight deadlines, the sleepless nights, all those things I had to do to get to this point. The idea that I would continue to sit here and not move my career forward and not take the actions necessary, it's just something I can't do. So the brag sheet serves multiple purposes, with you understanding the narrative to paint for yourself, but also giving you the kick in the pants to say, listen, I can't keep sitting here and just being passed over. And so when you have a brag sheet, or again, if you have a folder where you've just collected some achievements as well, when you have something like that, I'll talk first to the people who are currently employed and are seeking to move up or get promoted. When you have put that together, especially when you look at the accomplishments in the context of the organization that you currently work in, that is something that I would then use in a conversation with your direct supervisor. And the question is, I don't know if you've had a conversation with your supervisor about being promoted before or moving up before, but even that aside, I would schedule time to discuss, what does the next step look like for me? Or what are your thoughts about me moving on to the next step? And in that conversation, the person may articulate to you, oh, well, before you can move up or before you can get to this next level, that you need to do A, B, C, X, Y, Z. And the brag sheet comes in handy because you're able to have something on hand to say, well, some of the experiences that you described that you think that I need, here's how I've already done some of this work. When I worked on such and such project, or when I partnered with such and such division, or when I worked on this initiative. So having that brag sheet can help you in framing conversations with your direct supervisor when you're asking for the promotion, when you're asking for the raise, and they may have some feedback, or they may have some comments as to why they're not ready to move you forward. That brag sheet can come in handy. It also comes in handy when you're speaking with mentors and sponsors. Having that document handy, because that you may get the question of, okay, well, how long have you been in this position? But what else have you done? It's not just about length of time and role. You can be in a job for 10 years and not do nothing. I'm telling you, I've seen it myself. So if you've been in the company a while, but you've also created value, those are things that you can then bring up in the conversations with your mentors, with your sponsors, who may be able to go and speak on your behalf. Because you may try to speak with your supervisor, and if nothing's happening, tapping into these other individuals and sharing with them explicitly what you've done, not just, hey, I've worked hard. It's like, hey, this is the project I worked on. This is how much money it saved. This is how many people it helped. Giving them that context, they now have ammunition to go and speak up on your behalf in other contexts and other conversations. So those are just two ways within your organization that you can leverage that brag sheet to have fruitful, meaningful conversations about how do you get to the next level. Again, when you're trying to get promoted, when you're trying to get to that next level, that next, level of excellence, the next, title, they're looking for you to do more than just what's on your desk. They're looking to see if you have been able to think. I hate the term think outside the box. It's so cliche, but we're just going to use it for grins. So have you been able to think outside the box? Have you been able to accomplish something that nobody else has? Have you been able to improve processes, create some sort of transformation, build a new strategy, something that goes beyond the bounds of your immediate desk and your immediate responsibilities? That's what they're looking for to move someone up and give them expanded opportunities. I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with people who said, I'm stuck at a supervisor level, or I'm stuck at a manager level, and I really should be a director, a senior director, a VP. And so we have to unpack in our coaching conversation. Okay, so you want to get to that next level. Let's talk about the kind of work that you've done that's indicative of that level of performance or that level in the organization. And so taking the time to really unpack the responsibilities that you've taken on, the expanded workload, and some of the kind of higher level, more complex challenges that you faced. That's what it's going to take. It's not just I've been doing this job really well for a long time. And so those are some options. And so let's now shift to those who may be on the job search market, who are like, hey, I've been trying to find a job, but I keep finding lateral opportunities. Again, when you look at the job descriptions for those more senior levels, have you tweaked your resume and your profile to highlight that you have that level of experience? It's not just about throwing in buzzwords or throwing in keywords and hoping it gets through the ATS. That's not how, if you want to get to that next level. It's also about, are you positioning the experience on your resume for someone to read and says, hey, they've already done a similar type of work, or they've demonstrated that they have the aptitude. Because even if you've never had a director position or a VP position, if you're able to highlight that you have the aptitude and that you've demonstrated kind of glimpses of that level of strategy, that level of mindset and approach to a senior level position, if you've already demonstrated some of that, that then lets the recruiter know or the hiring manager know, hey, this may be someone that we want to interview. And so as you're on that search, making sure that your documents highlight that. Then let's talk about your networking. So this is so we talked about the written piece and making sure that your documents highlight those higher level skills. But when you have conversations from a networking perspective, are you speaking about your experience in higher level language? Or are you just saying, hey, in my role, I did ABC 1, 2, 3. That's not going to sell someone on, hey, I have the aptitude or I have the skill set to take on something bigger and better and more expansive. So when you think about the networking conversations that you have, even before you get to an interview, are you sharing, oh, so, I was working with this director and here's how we were able to partner together to achieve this result. Here's where I use my skill set to take on this challenge that the company had been evaluating for a while and wasn't able to get some sort of resolution to. So being able to share that in networking conversations, informational interviews, whatever it might be, being able to share that in that context will also get you more attention for people to think, wait a minute, we have this position opening up and this may be an opportunity for this person to showcase the skills. And when we think about, especially when you think about higher level positions, when you're getting closer to executives, you're having conversations with a lot smaller circles. You're talking to headhunters and other people. And because there are fewer of those roles, as we know, than say the analyst or associate level. So because it's so competitive, you have to get really airtight with communicating your value to that type of position. It's not just about being able to say what you can do. It's communicating your value in the context of your position at that level. And then finally, when you get into the interview, they're going to ask you, why should we hire you? And it may not be that direct question, but there's going to be some variation. What makes you stand out, or what have you done? And it's thinking about, how do I highlight my experience as to how it will allow me to step into this bigger responsibility. And someone may flat out ask you, they may say, this is a director position and, this seems like it's a pretty big step up. Why do you think that you're a fit for it? We see that you have some skills, but we want to hear from you. Why do you think that this is a step up that you can handle? And so you taking the time to get airtight as to, these are the things that I have already done in my career. These are all the skills that I have built. These are the experiences I have had. These are the senior level executives that I have partnered with and supported. This is the value that I have brought to the table. And these are the results that my organization received or achieved as a result of my specific efforts. You being able to articulate that value in an interview is what's going to help separate you from other individuals who are applying for those positions. And so hopefully that provides you with a little bit of context for you to sit up straight and remember who you are. Remember everything you have done to get to this point. You didn't just get here by accident. So if you're feeling stuck, the question is, well, how did you get to the position you were stuck in? You didn't just float there. You had to put in a certain level of work. You had to grind, put in a little bit of grind. You had to build relationships. You had to go through tough times. You had to stretch yourself and learn new things. You had to deliver some sort of contributions or achievements to get to this point. So taking the time to reflect on that, using your brag sheet, and if you don't want to create a whole document, just create you don't have to have a whole spreadsheet. Use a Post-it note if you have to. Whatever it is that will allow you to get it out of your head and put it on paper to recognize and realize the value that you bring to the table that's above where you are right now. Whatever will work for you, that's what you use. Because you can't want $150,000 and you're talking like a person who makes 80. Let's just be for real, right? You've got to talk the language that people who get paid $150,000 or $200,000 a year, you need to speak that language in order for you to be in serious conversations, whether it's for the promotion or for the new opportunity that you may be looking for outside your organization. And so with that, I know that I've already been on here 20 minutes, but this is a topic I'm really passionate about because the bulk of my work with clients a lot of times is either clarity or helping them to position their brand effectively so they can break through the salary barrier and break through kind of the position barrier and kind of the ceiling that they've been hitting. So thank you for hanging with me for the past 20 minutes. Before we wrap up tonight, I just wanted to reinforce the fact that I am launching my group coaching program called Elevate. Doors close on September 1st. And this program is a 12-week intensive program where you are coaching directly with me and like-minded professionals to get you to the opportunities that you want. So if you've been spinning your wheels and you've been applying, or you've been sitting at your desk feeling like, hey, I can do and be more, this is a program that is designed to you, especially if you're in the finance and accounting space. And so, as I mentioned, doors close on September 1st. So if you're interested in getting support through that group coaching program, I would love for you to comment on whatever platform that you're on and just comment the word Elevate, or you can send me a DM and with the word Elevate. And I just want you to know, if you're like, hey, the group coaching program may not work for me, I do have one-on-one coaching options available. So if you want that one-on-one support, we can definitely talk through that. So again, comment Elevate, or you can DM me the word Elevate, or here's the cheat code. You can go right to my LinkedIn profile and click the request services button. And I actually also get the request through there as well. So cheat code, if you're like, I don't want to be commenting all these places, you can use the services button on my LinkedIn profile. So I want to say thank you so much. I can't see the person who was commenting on LinkedIn. For some reason, it's not showing me your name, but thank you for the comments. And I'm glad the brag sheet is helpful. Yes, please get airtight at communicating your experience, value, and results. And so I want to say thank you for watching tonight. If you have questions after watching this live stream, if you're feeling stuck still and you're like, hey, I don't even know what to do with my brag sheet, you can still send me a DM and we can just talk about your immediate questions. And I will be back tomorrow at our normal hour. So not this late night situation. I'll be back at a normal hour at 7 p.m. Eastern for the career climb. We're going to be talking about cybersecurity and careers in cybersecurity and how you can actually get in, what the future of cybersecurity looks like, and if that's an opportunity for you in your career, if that's what you're interested in. So thank you again for watching, and I will catch you guys at a normal hour tomorrow.